Yes, I am Elena, your podcast host, and today we're going to be talking to her about all things Huntsville, all things cooking, all things business. So yes, I'm so excited. Okay, so I guess pretty much tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, well, so I'm a Huntsville, Alabama native.
Nice.
Graduated from J.L. Johnson High School, class of 2000. I got my chemistry degree from Tuskegee University.
Oh, nice.
I'm
like, girl, chemistry? I was like, okay.
After that, I kind of floated around doing science things.
It makes sense, though, because food and stuff.
It was what it was, but I always wanted to go into restaurants. Like, for some reason, like, I figured, like, I would go into, like, maybe forensic science. And then retire in
Did you watch a lot of CSI?
I did. I'm a true crime fan.
I am
so like YouTube, I'd be like this. Oh my God, Karen killed the shit out of you.
I with the podcast and stuff, but I like a lot of like Criminal Minds or like the shows. Oh my gosh, I'm on SWAT right now because it's on Netflix. Girl, they have in my heart. Like I'm on like episode 13 or 14. They are stressing me out.
And see, I'm too nosy. I need real people business. I watch murder case trials live. Like right now, I'm watching the Rico trial. I watched the Alexander Murdaugh case. Did you watch
the reindeer thingy?
Which one is that?
Baby Reindeer?
Baby Reindeer, I did not. Okay, so what new that just dropped that everybody talking about is Tell Them You Love Me. I remember that case when it first dropped out. So like that's when I remember that when it first happened because that's how much I watch true crime. Like if it's happening now, if it's a really good case, I'm in it. I'm obsessed.
Because Netflix is good for putting people onto stuff. Like these cults, it's crazy.
Oh my God!
Like there's this new documentary, and the court case comes out next year. So it's interesting that they're doing it before. Or during the court case, if that makes sense, or before.
Because all that stuff is public information.
Yeah.
Because
Netflix dance people. Dancing for the devil. You know what I'm talking about? It's the TikTokers that be dancing, girl.
Oh, the new TikTok cult. They got a documentary on them already?
Yeah. Oh, my God. And I still see the girl dancing and just... And I'm like, what happens once you get too old?
They already got the Diddy documentary, too. So
they do?
Girl, yes.
It's the one at 50 Cent?
It's on Tubi. No, not TMZ got it.
Oh, that's gonna be messy.
It's messy. It's good.
TMZ, it's messy. But girl, we off subject. But I love stuff like this, so this is fun.
Okay, so but go from that kind of career into restaurants because I've always wanted to cook. I love to cook. Like I've been cooking since I was a little kid. Okay, that's one of them things where you always know you're gonna do. Like growing up, they used to actually call me Chef Boyardee Ketha. Like, because I was always cooking up something, and it'd be like a box something, and then I done hooked it up, put a bunch of extra stuff in it. Sprinkle. And, because there was limitations of what I could do, but I was always pushing beyond what I could do, so I was always cooking something. Yeah. So even in college, like, at one point I was the only female in an apartment complex, and none of them boys could cook. So like on a regular, I had regular visitors just getting plates and home cooked meals because they far from home. Yeah, that's my hobby. So
cooking them home cooked meals
and
reminding them of food that they probably never had.
The spaghetti and the lasagna was it right there, and the fried chicken, those kind of things, macaroni and cheese.
That home home cooking southern type of like food.
Yeah, because we ain't on the cafeteria.
Like
that meal plan ain't happening, and Tuskegee got had a Burger King and a Subway back then, and that was it. You had to go to Auburn to get food. So
and that's expensive for a college student. You probably gotta work there just for the discount. Yeah, I used to work at Olive Garden, in the brother sister Longhorn Steakhouse. Yeah. I used to work for them, and
I was obsessed with Bloomin' Brands was mine. Outback, Carrabba's, Bonefish Grill. I took a little turn at Applebee's when I was real young, but that was turning table days.
Yeah,
but when I was cooking, it's like when you turn tables, you look at a different quality versus when you're actually cooking. Like when I'm cooking, I'm like, I'm not doing no wings, Yeah. Like Char was one of Char was actually the last job I had here. So it was that kind of food that I focused on as a cook. As a server, I was just going where the money was, where the tips was good,
Better, girl, honey. They only paid like $2 and something cents, maybe $5 an hour, and that's it. You better go where the money at. You ain't trying to go where broke people at. You about to be a broke person.
You have to have charisma to be a server.
You do.
And I think that's the one thing that I always help, especially with the entrepreneur now, because I have to do hospitality and the culinary, is that you build a salesmanship. You kind of be able to read people and create a zone of comfort. One thing that my tables used to always say, like, they feel like they're at home, even though they're nowhere at a restaurant. Like, the restaurant kind of goes away, and it doesn't matter which table I have. I find a way to focus to them and allow them to feel that kind of safe space.
Yes. See, so me, the opposite, girl. I used to be a server, but I'm not gonna say I hate it. I'm like ambivert, so I have high energy, and I surprise people because I'm so like, I'm not gonna say crazy on Facebook, but I'm just always on Facebook. But then people randomly call me, and I'm just like, "What's up?" And they be like, "Hey, Lena, blah 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 blah," and I'm like, what you calling for? Like,
I get that.
I'm
like, my phone never rings. Like, my phone never rings except like on the inappropriate time. Like, I be like, oh, I'm like the most don't call me business owner ever. Please text me. I am an introverted extrovert. Like, all that Ketha that you see big and wild, I am a 10 person. I swear to God. But
I feel you.
At the same time, I'm like this. Yeah. I'm at home, I'm laying down, I'm on Facebook, finding something stupid to say to y'all, okay?
Right. And I think that might be something to do with content creators. Like, we put a lot online, a lot of our energy. So, like, when people call us, like, and now what I like about content is also that you're recording it and then you can post it kind of whenever.
Yes.
So, but people don't see that. And girl, like I said, like, they called me and I was like, okay, like trying to get the energy, but I'm like, I'm just chilling right now. And I was like, what's up? And it was like, nah, Lane, you ain't about to get what did she say? She was all like, I got business for you. I got a client. I was like, oh, okay.
Right, you have to give me something. I'm not just on. Like, that's the thing. One time
I was like, big money is always gonna make me happy.
On all the time. Yeah, and I think that's what it is. Is that, but I've always been that kind of silly friend anyway. But that's just because everybody needs a good laugh. They know Ketha gonna say something inappropriate. Yeah. Like, I'm the one that they you know those posts that say never put on speakerphone. I'm it. I may open with something outlandish. Dear God, don't be in church and hit play. You know, that was probably gonna open with an F-bomb. I swear to God, I'm one of those. So do not open just because. I mean, I'm unfiltered, but like if you're just calling me to chat, I have nothing.
Feel you, girl. When she said it was something about a client, some money, I was like, I brightened up. I was like, hey, girl, what's up? It's been a minute. Thank you for calling me. Like, so it was very interesting. But I get that a lot because, like, I'll take hiatuses off of like Facebook or just different things. I'll be on another social platform, girl, and I be having people check on me. Like, girl,
I know TikTok worried about me. Because I know I have not posted a TikTok. I haven't posted going viral and at the height of my TikTok. Like, literally everything I was posting was hitting hundreds of thousands of millions of views. TikTok was paying me pretty decent for a second. It was not.
Because they changed the program anyway.
And that was what it was. That's what turned me off. Boom, instantly. It
Facebook
was like everybody
too. They exactly. Too much. It's just
it became too much for the time that it was invested. Yeah. And in the beginning, I was a content creator who had a business. Yeah. And then it flipped to me being an entrepreneur that has content. Yeah. And so
that mindset is very different.
It's different because I was just doing videos for social media during the pandemic. And a friend of mine, I was living in New Orleans at the time, and a friend of mine whose family has a restaurant. He was eating my food. He was the only person around that could eat my food. He was the only person allowed to be around. So after a while, he's eating something brand new every single day. And this is before I was comfortable enough to talk in front of the camera. Yeah. Like, that took a while. So I was like setting the food to music and making the pans kind of coordinate and dance. Like, if you look at some of my old YouTube, old TikTok, it was brilliant. It was innovative. I just was too scared to say anything over it. So, but if you watch, every single beat, every single pan moves, it dances. Yeah.
And by the way, tell them where they can find you too.
Okay, so even though I have,
she might hop back on some TikTok. So
even though I have uninstalled TikTok, the page is still there. It should be chef.Ketha, I think, or the real Chef Ketha. Who knows?
You like, baby, I don't know. I'm gonna link it down below, so you find.
Right, on YouTube, I'm Chef Ketha. On Instagram, I'm Chef Ketha. And on Instagram, I'm the Southern Saucier. Put dots in between it. And on Facebook, I'm Chef Ketha.
So pretty much everywhere besides TikTok.
TikTok, even if you put Chef Ketha in there, you're gonna find me. It ain't that many Chef Kethas in this world. Okay. Put it in. You're gonna get me. Google me. I'm actually Googleable.
And then, like I said, y'all can also find her links down below too, and everything that she has going on. Definitely follow her content, and support her in general. Do you have anything that, like, since YouTube and just social media in general is more worldwide, do you have anything for worldwide, or are you more local, if that makes sense?
Okay, so I travel. I actually have followers and a few clients. I think my furthest follower is Karina, and she's in Puerto Rico.
Okay.
And then
you better tag her and say, girl, be like, hey, I shout you out.
And then we have, she always changes her name. Hawaii and New Orleans, she's on my Instagram page. She is Hawaii. They both have t-shirts. I have friends in Colorado.
Oh, I used to live in
New
Colorado.
York. I got clients in New Orleans. I actually established my business in New Orleans before I moved back home.
Yeah.
So New Orleans, Georgia.
Okay, nice.
I started off as a traveling chef. Again, more social media. So they were booking me through my content, and I was going where the money reside. You remember when that was the catchphrase? If you was booking, I was going, you know?
Yeah. I think that we're going back towards that, like, of like kind of not having necessarily a brick and mortar to just going where I need to go. Like, even with me, with my podcast, it was kind of like I have a brick and mortar, but at the same time I had came to the library or something like that, and I was just like, this is nice. And I was like, I'm gonna do it here. I was like, this is a nice little environment. And what I'm liking is like that we're kind of going away from the traditional of having a brick and mortar to like we said, just traveling and going. Or maybe it's just like we're going back to our roots, because like, you get what I'm saying, if that makes sense.
I like the freedom. One of the goals when I was in culinary school, because I went to culinary school after Tuskegee was 29 years old, going to culinary school.
Nothing wrong with that.
None at all. You know, it was something I really wanted to do.
I still be thinking about it sometimes, girl. I love food.
And one of the chefs asked me one day, what did I want? And I was like, I want the ability to endlessly create, you know. And at that time, you know, my only option was country clubs. You know, you're in the industry or you're doing private chefs. That's kind of it. And so if I'm in a country club, I got freedom. If I'm an entrepreneur, I got freedom. I never really saw myself as an entrepreneur. I never saw me here where I am right now.
Yeah.
Like, this was, yes, maybe, but
I feel like also, with that being said, did you have anybody who was an entrepreneur in your family?
Yes. Actually, I had an uncle that owned a barbecue restaurant, Fred Lee. My granddaddy owned T&L Records.
So entrepreneurship was in your family. So that's a lot better than a lot of people, because entrepreneurship is one of those things where I have family members like my dad and stuff where they do hustle, like hustles, but you know, like side jobs or whatever, but it's not necessarily a business, an entrepreneurship or whatever, which it
like
can
it sustains
be.
them. Like, no, like this is like I don't have a side job. I make the joke now that I want a summer job so I can stop being in charge for a little bit. You know, it's been 4 years since the pandemic and interesting circumstances about a mask.
Time went by fast. Time is going by fast.
You look up and really it's been 4 years since the world shut down and our industry changed.
That is ever since, like, well, I don't know if we can say ever since 2020, because you know they be weird. Yeah. But ever since then, I just feel like the world has changed. Like
the mindset. It's about. I think a lot of us, even with entrepreneurship, like we don't see it as toxic. Like I look at some of them and they're grinders and they're hustlers, and I respect it. I do. But I am not the entrepreneur that wants to work hard every day. I didn't create this freedom space for me to still work 7 days a week. You know, 100 hours. I didn't do that. Yeah. So I try my best to work smart as an entrepreneur. I create seasons. I focus on different clientele. Even though I'm one of those that don't have a niche. Which is, listen, if you're going into business, please have a niche. My niche is that I don't have a niche, but I'm qualified to not have a niche.
I think now niche is the new thing though, because we've been like talking about niche so much over the years. I've been noticing a lot of content creators. It's like they're having a niche, but it's different. Like, okay, so like on YouTube, because I'm a YouTuber. Yes. So on YouTube, it could be more so like for me on my one other channel, not necessarily this one, but also go follow me on Lana Martin LE, by the way. Link will be down below. That's my lifestyle channel. But on there, I'm gearing now more towards like a niche of being a mom in her 30s. Yes. And the journey of that. So it's kind of like that's the new like niche. Anything that kind of comes up as a 30-plus-year-old, as a parent and a mom and wife and stuff, that's kind of that's my niche. Yeah. Because putting yourself in a box is just people are over it.
It's the same thing with like this niche of food bloggers, and how everybody's palate is now the end all be all on a restaurant. You know, especially in the African American space. Black people, I love us, but y'all got to stop trusting everybody that's chasing from restaurants.
Oh, I already know who you're
everybody's
talking
mac and cheese.
I know who.
And I ain't just talking
too.
about him. I'm talking about the other him and the rest of them.
Who is
you know?
him?
They're all, you know.
I know the one who came to Huntsville.
It's two that came to Huntsville.
Is it?
Yeah, with the dreadlocks. He hungry. But yeah,
the main guy. He came there.
Yeah.
Oh, Keith.
No, not Keith.
Oh, girl.
No, listen to the cues.
Like,
those who watch him know who that hungry man is, and he black with locks.
Now you gotta say it to me because I don't know what you're talking about. I know the other bald headed.
Okay, but this is the thing. It's that you have to ask yourself who gave them the credentials. And I'm not saying everybody with the mouth can't eat, but I'm just saying, like, if you're letting a person who hasn't had a successful restaurant judge another successful restaurant, who are you to judge? You know, it's one of those, what they say, those who can't play coach.
Yeah, those who can't teach and stuff,
those who can't cook out here eating and telling us about our mac and cheese bad. And that's from place to place to place. That's from small black town to small black town. You know, they do that. And I don't like the way they're creating that niche and establishing that negativity.
Yeah.
You know, everybody's collard greens ain't gonna be delicious, but everybody's collard greens ain't nasty. You know, and it's that I'm kind of tired of them. Do you eat other things than fried chicken? They don't explore a lot of the newer black restaurants either. So they are only going to iconic black restaurants, okay, those cornerstones of your neighborhood, and telling you this food is horrible. And then they're all doing it. And I don't care for that niche in our industry. It's detrimental, actually.
Okay.
It really is.
Now me, I personally do my lifestyle food stuff, but most of the time, like, I judge everybody. I'm like, I go to the franchises, I'll be like, hey, you know, I'll be honest, that wasn't that good. But this is good. Like, I like the drink, but I'm not gonna say the food was good. So I judge everybody.
That's me. I think that some of us as neutral bodies, like I feel the need now to even join in that niche as a chef, one who has a broad palate. I'm classically trained. You know, I've got 20 years plus experience in all facets. You know, if I go into a restaurant and I go, this is a solid 8 out of 10, you should believe me. I've won medals. But just some guy that got on social media tell you this is a 7 out of 10, why do you believe him?
You better see me. And that's another thing also, like, I had went to Atlanta recently for a skincare competition, and so when I was there, I was like asking people, like, where should I go eat? But everybody was telling me, like, the A places of, like, you know, where Keith Lee went.
Yeah, the tourist trap.
I don't really like going to those because they're touristy. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I think they had, like, a Screwdriver or a Mimosa, something, one of those places that they were saying that was like $30, then you got to pay to park. I'm like, I'm not doing all that. I'm not doing all that to spend like close to $100-something on things that I could get cheaper but better at a place that's considered like a B place, right, if that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. I'm a local restaurant girl. And that's no matter where we are. I'll go get me, now don't get me wrong now, I'll go to an expensive steakhouse, baby. You got one of them fancy ones with a smoked old fashioned, I'm in there. I
know what the food, like I said, I look at the ratings and the reviews and stuff. That I'm a review girl. I don't care where you are necessarily. And I'll go on like social media. They say social search is like the top thing now versus like, you know, going on Google. Yeah. I go on TikTok. I don't be on TikTok like that, but I'll search on TikTok and I'll be like, hey, I'm going to Atlanta, what food places, and I'll like filter through, like I say, those A places like Frost Bistro, and like those places where it's like I don't mind going, but I'd rather go somewhere that's just, like I say, it's still nice, but it's reasonably priced because it's just a regular place, if that makes sense.
You know, there's it kind of reminds me when I lived in New Orleans. When I go back there, actually, when I was living there, I kind of ate entirely from this blog called Where Black Nola Eats, and that was whether it was small restaurants, plate sellers, and it was a catalog of every kind of restaurant they had that was black owned and you can eat there. And then, I mean, I don't mean it like that, but it was like, you know, if you wanted po' boy, if you wanted vegan, if you wanted wings, if you wanted Jamaican, if you wanted Haitian, if you wanted a coffee shop.
And I think that's important still to have lists and stuff so you can support, but still I feel like support, but also I like to diversify, but I do love my black businesses.
Yes. Yes. You know,
but yeah,
it's more, I guess, because I live in a predominantly black community. Yeah. So for me, it's making sure that I'm serving my neighbors and keeping the money in the neighborhood, because you know, eating at Best Wings is walking distance from my house. I know the Waries, so me buying from them, though, that I love their chicken. So not only is it because it's high quality food, that's my neighbor, that's my friend, and things like that are important to me to go to jails. It's important to me to support the vegan food. Man, do he?
He has some good food. He just got a new location.
He does. He on Jordan Lane. I remember when he was in the food truck.
Yeah, me too.
I remember when he was in the old Elk somewhere on the corner. So
I remember the food truck, and like now that he has a spot, I was like, I love seeing people grow and just scale more so. Like, it's just really nice to see. Like, I remember when you was at the food truck, and now you have your own location. Yeah. Like, it's just really nice to see people, like I say, grow their business and scale. It's just nice just seeing it. It motivates you, because again, these are your friends, these are your team. We support each other, we share each other's content. You know, when people talk about local support, I know that as a Huntsville local black entrepreneur, we are friends, we're allies. You know, John Hambrick in his My Kitchen, he has set up a whole commissary, a whole factory for you to be able to set up. You know, he helps the Fry Box get along. He helped the Bougie Vegan with the foundation. We connect. We are a network that's deeper than what it is. It is.
We're a small network still.
Yeah, it is, because that's even for me. Like, I'm still an esthetician, and like the black estheticians here, we're all cool. Yeah. Like, I'm like, you know, if I can't do something, I'm like, hey, she got you.
Thank you.
Like, you know, and we went out to eat one time. We need to do it again. But it's all about community. A lot of people see people doing the same thing as competition necessarily, but even if we're doing the same thing, we're still doing things differently.
Yes. The one thing that I did have to understand, and I guess because at one point there was trend setting moments. Yeah. And where you're setting a trend. And I had to, it wasn't arrogance. It's one of those where I worked hard to create this, and now I see everybody doing it, and so it frustrates me. Yeah. And so I had to learn that it was flattering, because I know it's not going to be the same, because they don't know how you did it. But still, it's like, God damn, I just made this menu up, and you literally selling the same thing plus chicken 3 days later. Like, I'm trying this new. No, you're not. Yeah. Give me time sometimes. Just let me sell it for a week before
you got your stuff on Facebook. What's the thing? The notifications.
Oh, the favorite. Like, ding,
they got you on favorite. Whenever you post.
I sell a turkey leg, you sell a turkey leg. That's why I got out of that turkey leg hut. When everybody got on Huntsville, you know, I made a comment of it, because I was like, I know I ain't making them, but they didn't convince me to make them. I'm making a small handful tomorrow.
Yeah, you can. I'm like,
it's like, well, you know, I did that. You know, I'm one of those that I'm always creating that new idea. So sometimes by the time it's hit social media, by the time it's hit your plate, I'm over it, and I'm trying to give you something else to eat.
And not just wrong with that, a lot of big businesses, like big chefs and stuff, they do like things that, like, they don't serve the same thing twice. You know what I'm saying?
And that's me. I don't like to serve the same twice. Those menus, every time I serve you shrimp and grits, I wish you trust to eat something else. You know, I know you love it. I know it's delicious. I know them grits leg thick, like like a big girl. I'm just like a big girl, baby. She lush, she plush, she creamy, she soft, she raw. I know it. I know it, baby. Let me fix you something else.
Yeah. I'm one of those people where, like, if I have something really good, I have to have it at least one more time. Because it's like, was it really that good? Yeah. I gotta try it again.
And see, that's why I plate my food the way I do. Because, of course, I price it quite at its quality, sometimes less, because I portion big. Mm-hmm. So when people get shrimp and grits, it's like, what is it, about a pound serving of grits, which is a lot. Yeah, and then you get
that's like a whole bag of, like,
well, a pound. Okay, so you got to think that a pound serving is like 2 cups.
Oh that don't sound.
So it don't sound like a lot, but when you hold it, that's a pound of grits.
Okay, I didn't think about.
Yeah, and then it has the cheese, and then it's made with real cream.
Okay.
And then it's got a little smoke to it, and it's smoky Gouda cheese, and because it's made with real cream and no water, it holds that natural thickness.
Girl,
and
that sounds good. I'm like, dang.
It's sexy, even cold, it will just melt in your mouth. It's very just sexy. And then when I put the shrimp down, I'm not doing like most restaurants give you 5 shrimp, 7 shrimp, 15, 16, 17. That's my count. Dinner, eat that, and then I make a crawfish etouffee.
Okay.
And then I put shrimp in the crawfish etouffee, little baby shrimp in there. So you done got all these grits, a lot of big shrimp,
all these proteins,
the little crawfish, little baby shrimp. It ain't no pork.
Yeah,
and every bite is seafood. It's lush, it's plush, it's sexy, it's lavish. Nobody else is giving it to you like that. They give you some
little portions, like pretty much.
And the grits probably made with water.
Yeah. Cause when I was like, dang, that do sound good. I was like, you got me thinking about my grits now. I'm like,
your grits sound real basic, don't
they? Yeah, they do. I'm like, okay, I gotta switch it up now. Like, I'm like, now I gotta add some. We gonna do. I'm lactose intolerant, so I'm like, I gotta use water. But then I was like, I can use lactose milk, maybe.
Yes, you can.
So I'm like, lactose free milk, I should say.
Okay, so do not when you're going into vegan milk with that one. Don't do no oat milk. It's gonna taste like oatmeal.
I already know oat milk.
The almond milk, maybe.
Okay.
The non-flavored.
Yeah, because I usually get that.
Or cashew. Cashew will give you a nice nutty flavor.
Okay.
Yeah. Flavors is my thing, girl. And that's why people love my food too, because I layer things. I when I build a plate, I think of it like a house.
Okay.
And there's a strong foundation, and each level has its own layer that it kind of matches. So there may be smoky, nutty, spicy, aromatics. It's when people. I remember when I was in culinary school, the Spice Bible first came out, and everybody was walking around with it. It's a little book, and it just had a listing basically of all the flavor profiles that would go together. So you don't really think that honey, mango, jalapeno, cayenne, cumin go together.
Yeah, it don't sound like it when you're saying it. It sounds good, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But they do. And that Bible gave you all kinds of interesting things. They would say if you were looking for chilies, each ingredient chilies, and then boom, everything that would pair with it. And they were walking around with that. I was walking around with a Scaffier. Now, Scaffier is classical French. He was one of the godfather. We'll say what Italians created cooking, but the French stole it by writing it down. I was reading Scaffier, which is the guy that stole it by writing it down.
Yeah, you gotta write stuff down.
So, where people in his book is more written for chefs that understand, and it's more recipe focused, techniques focused.
Okay.
So very classic.
So this was very nice to have Chef Ketha, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, perfect. Hey. Coming in to the podcast to talk about all things Huntsville, all things food, teaching us some things that I didn't know about pairing different things like mango, cumin. Girl, I'm like, I don't know what you said. It was a long list, but I'm like, okay. But it was very nice having you in. Again, tell them you're mostly on Facebook.
Yes, ma'am. The bulk of my followers and the bulk of my activity is on Facebook. So you can find me at Chef Ketha or the Southern Saucier, spelled saucier but with a fancy French I. On Instagram, I'm secondly active there, and that is at chef.ketha, and it is also the.southern. It's long.
Don't worry, we're gonna have a link down below for you.
And then YouTube, I have it's not archive page, but it's a lot of old content, a lot of old recipes there, especially my early social media days there. It's lots of stuff.
Okay.
All kinds of random cuisine.
So we'll definitely have all the links down below for y'all to go ahead and follow her online. Also, if you're local to Huntsville, or she also travels.
I do.
Definitely book her for your next upcoming chef needs and cooking needs. But yeah, and then also my new ebook is out called The Monetize Your Foodie Lifestyle. It's going to be a tips and trick book where pretty much you can get some type of kickback on a social media site for going out to eat. Yeah. So, we all can make some money like eating now. Everything's expensive. So if I can get a kickback, I'm going to get a kickback.
I like kickback.
Right? But I so much for coming in. And this was really great. This was like a casual conversation that I was looking for, to be honest. Yeah. So, yeah, you took my nerves away, girl, because this is the first one. So I was like, oh, gosh.
Nah, we do good.
But, all right.